If you love physics and you are looking for something to really blow your minds out, especially in the chapter of rotation, you have landed at the right video. Because over my past 13 years of experience, whenever I have asked this question in any offline or any online batch, very few, the chosen ones, probably get the answer right in the first go. And if you really got this, truly you're a genius and you deserve an IITJEE seat. But even if you don't, the reason why you are here is because you want to learn and you want to become a genius. So quickly smash that like button down there because this video is going to be really interesting. There is a big climax towards the end, which you will see very soon. So let's get to the question. I hope you have smashed the like button and subscribe to the Vedantu JEE English channel for more such videos, by the way. So there is a rod. It's lying on a flat, smooth table. It's at rest. And there is a ball which comes and strikes it. The moment it strikes it, elastically, that means there is no energy loss, this rod will not only move forward, but also it will rotate and maybe this ball comes back. It's just an assumption. If we are wrong, then no worries, we'll just get a negative sign. So all of this collision is elastic. It's happening on a flat, smooth, horizontal table. Original rod, mass m, length L was at rest. The ball's mass is m. Speed is also given to you. So obviously what is asked in this question is, what is the rebound velocity, if at all? What is this center of mass velocity of the rod? And what is the angular velocity of that rod? There are so many variety of questions. Even if you open HC Verma, there are varieties of questions on this, one after the other. And there is a hidden concept which we are going to discover very soon. So let's start with it. Obviously, here we have three things to be found: V1, V2, omega 1. Obviously, mathematically speaking, if you need three things, you need three equations. So we need to think about three laws or three different scenarios or three different physics equations which will help me find these three different unknowns. At least there will be three equations. Maybe new variables might come and it may lead to even more equations. Who knows? The most obvious is the linear momentum conservation, and linear momentum P, which is mass times velocity, is obviously conserved because if you take the entire rod plus the ball system, the force of collision is an internal force. So there is no external force. The table is smooth, no friction, normal and the weight, they themselves cancel out. So truly speaking, the net force is zero. And only when the net external force, internal does not matter, net external force is zero, the linear momentum is conserved. So that's why I've shown the before diagram, after diagram. This during the collision diagram will be important later on. So writing the equation, it will look something like this. The momentum of the ball will be mu. The rod is at rest, so 0. So this is the momentum before. On the right hand side of the equal to, you will have the momentums after the collision. So look at this diagram. This ball coming or assumed to be coming left side, so negative m times v2. And the rod has a center of mass here. So the center of mass will have some velocity v1. So m into v1 is the total momentum of the rod. If you're wondering, what about these velocities? They will be different. Please keep that in mind, that whenever you have a big system and they are all moving in different speeds, then the total momentum is the momentum of the center of mass. So it doesn't matter how other particles are moving, just look at the center of mass. The center of mass's momentum always equals the total momentum of the system. That's why this is fine. So I've got one equation. Well, 1/3 of the problem solved. Then comes the next part. Obviously, it's given the collision is elastic in nature, no energy loss, or the other simpler way to look at it is the velocity of approach before the collision will be the velocity of separation after the collision. So let's look at before first on the equal to's left hand side. So it is approaching the rod, the ball approaches the rod with a speed of u. So the approach velocity, always choose it along the line of impact. You might be wondering, should I choose v1? No. See, wherever the ball hits or wherever the collision occurs, along that line of impact, you need to consider this particular equation. The Newton's law of restitution is only valid along the line of impulse or the line of impact. You cannot choose any random velocity of any random point. So that's the reason why the velocity of approach will be just basically u. Now, not just that, I think all the equations came up very fast. Okay. What happens after that is the velocity of separation. Observe this carefully. This ball is going left hand side. This point is going right hand side. Both of them are going apart from each other, away from each other. So while finding their relative speeds, I will put a plus sign. The speed of the ball, v2. The speed of this point is this particular quantity. How do I get this? Now this point is not only rotating but also translating because of the center's speed. So the center is pulling the bottom with a speed of v1, and it is also rotating simultaneously. So it has this circular tangential speed omega r, where the radius is the length of the rod by 2. So L by 2 is the radius. Omega r, which is omega L by 2, becomes the tangential velocity. And addition to the tangential velocity, the rod itself is moving v1. So v1 plus omega 1 L by 2 is the velocity of this point, and v2 is the velocity of this point. Both are going away, hence the plus sign. I hope this is clear. You can pause the video, rewind a little bit, and again understand it if you lost me somewhere. This is equation number 2. Well, 2/3 of the problem solved, but the real problem begins here. Because obviously you're looking for angular momentum conservation. The real question is, where is it conserved? Because you have to think about a point about which the net torque will be 0. Only when the net torque is 0 about a point, the total angular momentum is conserved. I want you to think about this point really carefully. Lock it in your mind. Please don't change the answer. If you want, pause the video before looking at the solution ahead. Because what I'm going to say is really going to blow your mind. Okay, let's start. Most of you would have thought about point P1. Correct me if I'm wrong. And where is this point? It's on the rod. Fair enough. Let's concentrate on that point P1 on the rod at the center. What happens to it? Well, that point is here. After the collision, the point moves slightly ahead. Obviously, the rod has been struck below. The rod suddenly jerks and it moves ahead slightly. So point P1 on the rod moves suddenly because of that sudden collision. There is a sudden fast acceleration, which means that the point P1 has moved, accelerated very quickly. Obviously, it's not at rest. It is no, it's not an inertial frame. It's a non-inertial frame. Non-inertial. All the frames, all the points which accelerate, they are non-inertial in nature. You might be wondering, what difference does that make? Well, the moment you have a non-inertial frame, you should consider pseudo forces. Pseudo forces are fictitious. They are not real. They act opposite to the frame's acceleration. So the point P1 accelerated suddenly rightwards. So the pseudo force will act backwards, both on the ball as well as on the rod. Now you might wonder, what difference does that make? Well, the pseudo force on the rod will not have any effect because that pseudo force is passing through the point, which does not create any kind of torque. But this pseudo force on the ball, R cross F, creates a torque like this, which means the net torque won't be 0, but that is the condition for angular momentum conservation. Hence, angular momentum is not conserved about this point because of this pseudo torque, because of the sudden jerky acceleration of that point. I know many of you thought that point was the point, but let me give you the breaking news. It is not. So then you'll be like, okay, fair enough. I thought about point P2. I had an alternative in mind. Well, let's talk about this point P2 story. Think carefully before, during, and after the collision. How will the journey look like? Point P2 will be here, and just after the collision, it will be here. So the moment the ball strikes it, there is a sudden jerk in that point. It suddenly moves. Same story repeats. The point P2 has a sudden acceleration. That means point P2 is also a non-inertial point, and the observation will be as a non-inertial observer. Obviously, you need to consider pseudo force. which will be opposite to the acceleration of the point P2. Pseudo force on the ball will not have any torque because that force is passing through the point. But this pseudo force on the rod, that definitely creates a torque. R, this is R cross F. R cross F, there is a torque which is created. And because of this torque, obviously the net torque won't be zero. Again, angular momentum is not conserved. Sad story, right? So you will be like, what now? What do I do next? Which point do I choose? Somebody will say, okay, let's choose a point here. Somebody will say, I will choose such a point where the net torque cancels out. Well, first of all, my dear friend, how do you know how much this force is? How do you find out what is the jerky acceleration? So you can't find out that point where the net torque will be zero so easily. In fact, no matter where you choose, you'll always most likely see that there is some kind of jerkiness involved, non-inertial frame, pseudo torque, pseudo force, hence angular momentum will not be conserved. So then you begin to scratch your head. But I will say, please pause the video for a moment before thinking what the point should be. Well, if you're back after pausing, let me tell you what we can do now. Let's choose a point. I'm going reverse instead of before, let's go to afterwards. Let's choose a point P3. Where the hell is this point? Well, point P3 was left behind by the rod. In fact, point P3 was on the smooth surface, on the ground table surface. It's below the rod. It's not on the rod, it's not on the ball, it's below the rod's center. And it's on the surface. So if you look at the times before, here and here, in fact, the point always stayed below the rod went ahead, that's okay. The ball hit and went back. That point P3 never moved. Never moved. No acceleration, no pseudo force, no torque. Net torque will be zero. Net torque is zero. Angular momentum is conserved. Brilliant. Angular momentum is conserved about this point on the ground. So we have found the point. But let me tell you, this is not the climax. We have not yet reached the climax. Hold on. So the angular momentum before of the ball will be m r v. M is m, r is l by 2, total length by 2, velocity is u, and it is anti-clockwise. It's giving an angular momentum anti-clockwise about this point. The rod was at rest, so the rod's angular momentum will be zero. Okay, afterwards the ball strikes, it comes back. So about this point, the angular momentum will be mass r is l by 2, velocity v2, but this is clockwise, hence the negative sign. If you miss the negative sign, gone, doomed. Yeah, this is anti-clockwise. This angular momentum about this point is clockwise, hence the negative sign. Basically, they should be of opposite sign. If you put a minus sign here, there should be a plus sign there. That doesn't matter. Finally, we have to also substitute the angular momentum of the rod. Well, there are two types of angular momentum of the rod. One is the MRV component and the next is the I omega component. So if you look at the center of the rod is at a distance r, the velocity is v, so mass of the rod into r into v, but r and v, they are parallel to each other, so this will be sine 0. Over here and over here, technically there was sine 90. You can see this was actually 90 degrees. Yes, this was actually 90 degrees. So sine 90 was 1. I was lazy to put that 1 over here, but deliberately I put that 0 here because I know in the next step 0 degrees sine will be 0. So this term is just going to vanish. Beautiful. What about the angular momentum of the rod for spinning effect? I into omega. Moment of inertia of the rod into omega. So let's substitute that. This is as it is, plus 0 does not matter. This is also as it is. This just became 0. Moment of inertia of the rod, ml square by 12, and this is nothing but omega 1. We have found the third equation. So now we have three equations. The first one through linear momentum, second through elastic collision, and the third through angular momentum about a point on the ground below the rod's center. Solving these three, you can obviously find V1, V2, and omega 1. I would suggest you to solve these equations and put the answer in the comments. Now comes the climax. Now comes the climax. Like, what, sir? Let me tell you that the best part of the problem is over here. I hope you stick around till the end. The best part of the problem is that you need not have to choose the point just below the rod at the center. In fact, you can choose any random point anywhere on the table surface. P is some random point, doesn't matter. P is on the surface. P is stuck to the ground. It never moves. It is inertial. No pseudo force, no pseudo torque. Angular momentum will be conserved. Yep, any point on the surface doesn't really matter. In fact, it is a matter of now your choice and your convenience to make the calculations easy. So the net torque will be always zero and the angular momentum is conserved. And the best part is that you can find infinite such points. So a problem where it seemed like angular momentum may not be conserved and it might be really difficult to find such a point, the answer is that there are infinite such points where you can conserve the angular momentum. What a beauty. And if you love this question, make sure you smash the like button right away, right now. Share this video with all the friends who want to be a genius. And obviously, comment below. Loved the concept. Thank you so much. This was your Captain Shreyas signing off. Hasta la vista.